All right, it's district breakdown time. My man Digsie's with us. We're talking 3-6A. We've moved up to the largest of classifications. 3-6A, last year, North Crowley had their team set up nicely for him by Courtney Allen. He moved on, and now we had Ray Gates in there, and he really led them through that thing undefeated. And they have a lot of youth on this team that's coming back. So I'm expecting a lot more of the same in this district. What do you see, not only out of North Crowley, but maybe some of the other contenders?
Yeah, North Crowley is just looking fantastic. I mean, the highlight reel that they're going to be bringing back is off the chain. There are six returning all-team district players on the defensive side of the ball across all eight teams in this district, and North Crowley has five of those six. So that lets you know what kind of talent they have. When I was kind of checking things, checking huddle, and looking at who are the players to watch, I even noticed that they got a transfer from Crowley on the offensive side of the ball. DeCorian West Davis is now listed as a North Crowley transplant over there. So even on the offensive side of the ball, all returning quarterback Chris, all district returning quarterback Chris Jimerson is back. Cornelius Wallace, the running back, is back. I mean, you saw them against Lovejoy, Ward, back in that, very vaunted, we're still trying to figure out Lovejoy. But I think it was really North Crowley. You should have been watching that game.
Absolutely. And by the way, it's Cornelius Warren. But the thing about him, when I talk to Coach Gates, is that he's one of those guys that likes to throw the word athlete on him. It's always great when you have a player like that where you're like, well, I can probably stick him here, there, wherever he is. He's going to make crazy plays. He played a lot at running back last year, and he'll probably do a lot this year too. But he can go any which way. But you're right. When they played Lovejoy, they took him down, and they really, they put themselves on the map in that game. Even though they were playing a team of classification down one, it was still a powerful Lovejoy team, and they took care of business.
Yeah, when you have an athlete like Cornelius Warren, you can just do so much with them, and you might even see some kind of trickery plays where he's getting in there at quarterback, some kind of flea flick or double reverse. And like you said, Coach Gates and some of the offensive gurus over there, they know how to use the talent, and they know how to put them in good situations where you can kind of take advantage of some of the defensive lapses. North Crowley, when you look at it, is just head and shoulders above everybody in this district. Defensive, Keith Hodge is a linebacker everybody is talking about. DC Thompson, Sterling Brooks, those defensive tackles. This is going to be a very stout defense, especially against the rest of the district as we start to talk about them. It's not a very well defined district after North Crowley. They may go through district and only allow, just garbage time points. I mean, you might see a situation where they hold everybody like to 30 points total in the 7 games in district. This is one of the better defensive teams I've seen in the area right now. They're up there with Duncanville, as far as what I'm concerned in returning talent when it comes to defense, and that's pretty high praise.
Yeah, you look at them. They went undefeated in district last year, and a lot of the teams they played, they got hit with the senior bug. A lot of their major talents moved on, so they're even getting a little bit lesser in their talent range. But talk about some of those other teams, especially a team like Boswell and Trinity. Of course, we always got to talk about Trinity, but a team like Boswell that came in second, and Trinity that was fighting in there too. Can they compete at all for the district title, or are they just going to be looking for playoff spots?
I think the voice has just made Euless Trinity very mad with that, because we are now, what, 3 or 4 minutes into this segment, and we have not talked about Euless Trinity. I mean, this is getting into some pretty epic grounds when it comes to Euless Trinity, as far as the disrespect you are showing them, Ward. Why did you not lead off this segment with Euless Trinity? Why don't you
And
explain to everybody?
you were going North Crowley crazy yourself, but you start throwing Duncanville comparisons in there. So let's relax on putting it all on me. We know what's going on in that district.
Just saying, but Euless Trinity, they were very young last year, and when I was having some very vociferous discussions with some of the Trinity fans last year. They pointed to me to Harwood Junior High and their ninth grade team just blowing out everybody last year. I don't know if that's necessarily going to help them this year, but there is some talent in the pipeline at Trinity. I don't know if it's going to manifest itself this year. Ethan Williams is expected back at quarterback. Michael Tillman, a very explosive defensive end, and they had a freshman at least listed on Huddle as 6'5", 380 pounds. Pupunga Toa Katoa. Yeah, I'm not good at my
It's easy for you to
Trinity
say.
pronunciations, but 6'5", 380 listed. And some of those coaches on Huddle, they don't always list accurate when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So that's quite daunting. But Buddy Leota is coming back as well. I think just of the fact that you got 7 teams who are all very competitive. You remember last year in that epic Trinity Bell game to end the season, there were multiple ways that district could have gone for making the playoffs. North Crowley was clearly the class of the district. And I think you're going to see more of the same this year. I think everybody's going to be competing for second to fourth. I think North Crowley is just far away and above everybody else. I'm going to give Trinity that benefit of the doubt, especially because you're going to look at everybody else and you're going to go, well, they don't have that player, they don't have that, talent. I expect Trinity to be a little bit more motivated this year, given how badly last year was. And when we talk about the big teams, Crowley and Saginaw Boswell are now going through coaching changes over the last year. I mean, it seems like this coaching district has turned over quite a bit. You talked about how Coach Gates was just getting his footing last year, and now he's got a little bit. Aaron Lineweaver is just getting his footing last year. Now it's going to be Carlos Lynn and Wes Weaver who are trying to get their footing for Crowley and Boswell. It's really LD Bell now looking with Coach Dibble as like, hey, we've got the best and most consistent program. And I think LD Bell is going to be right there competing for a playoff spot as well.
I was going to say, they were sitting there right on the edge last year. I mean, they started off so great, and then the tougher part of their schedule came up. And I like the way Weatherford played last year as well. I mean, did you see them fighting for a playoff spot?
Coach Aubrey Sims is obviously a very talented coach, but when you really look at their roster and what they've got coming back, you talk about being hit by the senior bug. They were hit by the senior bug. I'm very intrigued by their impending quarterback, CJ Thornton. He's got the size, the tools. I think he could be a player that could really lead them, but it's going to be a question of who's going to be around him. I think Weatherford will probably be on the outside looking in. Joseph Polk, the running back, and Britton Burrows at wide receiver. They've got some talent. The defensive side of the ball, that you've got a lot of young kids who have to step up into these roles and answer some questions. I just don't see them having the talent. I'm very excited about Crowley. I think Crowley has an opportunity to build on their success. Obviously, losing Coach Resendez last year, Carlos Lynn steps in as from Cedar Hill, but Jordan Green, Caleb Williams, and Derek Tasby are some names to watch for Crowley who can step into that role. Remember, Crowley beat Trinity last year. So, Crowley is a team that can be right there competing for that second playoff spot as well. Saginaw Boswell coach Wes Weaver, they're going to have that consistency because he was the offensive coordinator last year, promoted to quarterback. I'm thinking of quarterback because I'm looking at Sawyer Farr. He is the quarterback coming back for Boswell, and he is actually a baseball player committed to A&M. So you're seeing a lot of these baseball players playing 2-sport athletes, 3-sport athletes, getting in there and playing quarterback. Plano East has the same situation. Their quarterback is widely regarded as a baseball player as well. And those quarterbacks can really make a difference because obviously they've got the arm strength. They're generally on the taller side, so they can sling it around. I think Sawyer Farr can really help Boswell be a competitive team as well, and I think they're going to edge out LD Bell and Weatherford for the last playoff spots. But LD Bell has also got a lot of intriguing. They're bringing back their quarterback, Maddox Olatunde. Roderick Hale, their running back, is coming back, and a lot of people are speaking very highly of their defensive end, Tristan Johnson. It's just going to be that everybody else, because Trinity is going to have that infrastructure, the offensive and defensive line of size. Will Bell have that kind of size to be able to fight in the trenches, and will they have that depth? That's kind of been the knock on Bell year after year. But man, if we can get another sellout game at Pennington to end the year, that's going to be fun TV for you on the producer side.
Excellent. Well, since we don't know what's going to happen, I'm going to force you to tell us what's going to happen by giving me your 1 through 8.
Why do you got to do this to me, Ward? Yeah. I think we all agree. Do you agree with me? North Crowley won.
Yes.
Please give me that. You've been giving me the business and text messages that you don't like some of my picks these days.
I don't like some of your rankings, but your picks in these district standings seem to be pretty agreeable with me.
Well, we'll see.
I'll go with you on North Crowley.
So we agree. So now you're giving me the confidence to finish this up. Number 2, I got Euless Trinity. 3, Crowley. 4, Saginaw Boswell. 5, LD Bell. 6, Weatherford. 7, Chisholm Trail. And 8, Forward Pass.
We'll see you next week, Diggs.
See you next week, Ward.